Hello, I'm Anna Harwood-Gross, Director of Research at the Israel Psychotrauma Center, and I'm here today with our Director, Dr. Danny Brom, who's going to talk about why the current situation is different to any other situation we've experienced in Israel before, and how this can impact us and our coping methods. So Danny, tell us a bit about why this situation is different from all other situations.
Well, at least in Israel, we haven't been coping with a pandemic before, but we know trauma very well from wars and from traffic accidents and from terrorism, and all these things basically bring us into a survival mode, bring us into something that really recruits all of our forces in order to either fight it or get away or do something. Mostly these things really press us to do things, and we feel it in our bodies. It's full of adrenaline, and that is something that we know very well. Now, this situation is very different with Corona. Corona, you're basically said, home, sit at home, don't do, and that basically interferes with how we thought that trauma should be. We should do something in order to get out of this situation. And now they tell us, be quiet and do what you're told. Now, this goes a bit against Israeli culture also, but also it is, if you look at survival mode, it is very different, because now suddenly you are also told, don't be in close contact with people.
Right, so tell us about how this current survival mode is different to other survival modes.
So survival mode is an inborn mechanism that we have for, on the one hand, detecting danger and coping with danger. And we're actually quite good at it. And what happens when there is a danger, our whole behavior changes, and we know instinctually what to do, mostly. Unless it overwhelms us and we can do nothing, we can also freeze. But here is a different situation. Okay, also in that situation, we do connect with people. If you look at a war in Israel or terrorism or major events, then you come together. We know that also from New York 9/11, suddenly everyone feels together. And that is very helpful. That is how we also calm ourselves down. Now, suddenly, this is taken from us, and that is a very central thing. So that is the second part of survival mode, is our whole attachment system. How do we use others in order to calm ourselves down, know that it'll be okay? And it's a very primitive mechanism that babies find out in their first weeks. When you cry, then mommy will come. And then now suddenly we feel like crying out, and we're told don't be too much in contact with people. So that brings us to a very basic situation of sort of, we feel a bit left alone, we feel not good. It's a very basic feeling of not being fulfilled, because you cannot have your attachment system in place. And we feel that we want that. So people are a lot in contact on Zoom, on Skype, on telephone. But still, the feeling is this is not enough. And this makes this situation very different to cope with.
Right, so how would you suggest that people best react to this situation, where on the one hand you're saying our survival mode at this point invites us to be in contact with other people and reach out, but on the other hand we're so limited, and so it's so difficult for us to reach out to other people?
Yes, well, of course, reaching out to other people will stay very important. What is even more important at this moment is to understand that this is the situation that we will have to just endure and contain and make the best of it. It goes a bit against our natural tendencies. So instead, or when a war is over, your system still has to calm down and understand that thing is really over, and then you can go on. Here, the situation is that there is no enemy, there is no clear thing you can do except for being in isolation, which is, for human beings, is problematic. People need connection. So you would have to connect with yourself and with the people in your home, and not only think about calming down, not only thinking about being in your body, which is really important, but the loneliness that basically we cope with by connection with other people is a very central thing. So in this situation, I think we need to be active more, and we need to make ourselves active, give ourselves tasks, make sure we keep both connection with people and also a daily routine. We need to find a routine that is very different from how we were doing things. And of course, one of the important things that we can do, although again not in close contact, is helping other people. You know someone who is alone, call the person. You see someone on the street when you're on your way to the supermarket, say hello. Don't come close, but be open to connection. And that is in a way very different, because all the time we are being said, don't create close connections, and we need them.
I think that's very important here, how we can cope within the current regulations and how we can constantly focus on building new connections and reigniting connections with people perhaps that we've lost contact with, but to constantly keep it in our mind that our survival mode at the moment is very much reliant on maintaining those connections. So thank you very much, Danny, and keep up with all the different events we've got going on Facebook. They'll all be announced daily on our Facebook page, and we'll try and keep up connections with old friends of Metiv and the new friends that we're gathering along the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'm sure that a lot of people are now enjoying the activities. There are lots of activities online from Metiv, so thank you.